Hello, hello. Hello, hello. What's up, everybody? Gonna go ahead and get started. I'm just gonna cover a few things. Look at some charts, some plays I'm in, and go from there. So I was looking at Bitcoin versus the NASDAQ. You can actually type it into TradingView. If you just take the ticker. See if I can zoom out real quick. BTC USD and then / NASDAQ 100, and you can actually look at crypto versus the NASDAQ in the stock market. And sure enough, there was a harmonic on it. There was a Gartley pattern, which is super, super bullish. The most bullish harmonic pattern. So that's telling me that for the last, let's see how long it was. Since C, which was back in, wow. So basically since the crash happened, the top of crypto all the way to now, so about 315 days we've been in like down only versus the stock market, or at least the NASDAQ, and now we're starting to reverse. So this is at the D point you get the potential reversal zone, so right about here, and we're starting to reverse, which means hopefully crypto starts to pump a little bit more than the stock market, which is great. A lot of shit going on here. All right, so we can clear everything real quick. The chart looks good. We held these lows over here so far, and we're starting to pump a little bit. We had this downwards channel that I drew. And I'll click back on in a second, but we had a channel that went down this direction, and then we broke out of the channel right here, and we started to pump a little bit. So I'll put that back on. But you can see I have this bigger harmonics that is calling maybe for down here. It's still potential because we haven't hit the D point, but if we do like fail up here and we nuke and we go past these lows, then I would expect us to come down to one of these three levels. Would be some of the levels I'd be looking at to go gig along for the bottom. But in the meantime, we do have this order block kind of right here that we are hovering above, and we're hovering above all of the consolidation for about 2 months that we had from September through October. And then right around the end of October, we started to break out. So anything above this, above that 20K area, above all of this cluster is still bullish, even if we just chop in this zone. So if we just sit here and we chop, which I would prefer, this would give all the alts time to run. So if we're above this, I'm looking good, but if we deviate and we come back down into this range and come down here, then I could see a little bit more risk off for altcoins and everything like that. But until then, as long as this holds, we're looking pretty good. I do have a target of like 22.2K that I think we can hit. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. All right, so if we're zooming out on the monthly, on the dollar, we did have a perfect bat. So I said I don't want to call the top on the dollar, but at the same time, I mean, we pretty much came up here and we touched the bat here, and we've rejected so far, which has given us a little bit of a crypto pump. So as long as we're below this, I'm pretty bearish on the dollar. It's still going to take some time. Remember the potential reversal zones. I mean, it likes to chop up here because this is where market sometimes reverses. and you can see a lot of chop here. So you might see a lot of kind of chop up and down in crypto as well still. But once we start to break down from some of these levels, that's when crypto will really start to run. And that's probably when the bull market happens. But in the meantime, it did reject. It looks like we have a little candle. We might come back up and test the box. If we break above this, I would be pretty impressed. It would take a lot from the dollar, but I think it could still happen 100%. So right now the dollar it was pumping the last few days. And let's see, I haven't looked at this too much, but yeah, so we kind of deviated below like we did here, right here, and then we reclaimed this as support. So we're gonna just wait and see. You can see right here how we had this wick down and everything. That's the FOMC. We had some fuckery that happened. We came up, reclaimed, we dumped a little bit for some of the coins. But realistically, I mean, when we really zoom in here and go to like on the day-to-day basis, yeah, I mean, definitely it could go to 120. I have that level marked off, I think. Yeah. See if there's any like lower time frame harmonics here. So there might be one right here actually. I don't know what the points are. So yeah, 886 would be what this could pump to, which would be like right here, 113. Which makes sense because this is like right at all of the candle. I need to get rid of this gray box. I mean, I already know where the target is. So that 886 right here is actually right here at the top of these candles. So that would make sense for us to come down there and reject once we got up here, right? Because you have all these other previous areas where it's rejected. So if we can reject here again, we'd come back down. You'd probably have a nice little crypto pump. Once this rejects here, probably have a nice little crypto pump again down here. But we'll see what happens. I mean, usually they're inverse. Right now, crypto just looks pretty strong. You guys can hear me, right? I'm not just talking to the choir. Alright. Somebody type in chat if you can. Alright, so the injective. I almost said engine. I don't even know what it's called. INJ. I've been playing it because the chart looks good. So yeah, with INJ right here, do we have a harmonic over here? 618, 618. Is this the 1618 right here? 1618 is probably up here, like 3.2. So that's an area to watch out for as well. But yeah, so I have this trend line drawn right here. And I'll go to another one soon, but this one's kind of more clear because there's not a lot of shit drawn on it. And I thought once we get above this trend line, if you go to the 4 hour, you might be able to tell a little bit easier. Once you get above this trend line and you break out of this fucking channel, I thought we were gonna turn bullish. So we came out and I was waiting for the retest. We got the retest right down here. I think we went as low as like 227. I got in at 231, so I got in right here. Had a little fuckery. I didn't sell, and we started to just moon today, which is nice. But yeah, I'll go to some targets that I saw on the next one, but just wanted to show you kind of how I looked for this. I saw this trend line. We had this all consolidation in the box here. Just consolidate, broke out here, right? But then we went back into the box and respected the box the whole way. And then we broke out of this box. So that showed me it was bullish. And then once we broke out of this as well, that's when I knew it was gonna be really bullish right here. So that's why I kind of took this trade. And then I looked and saw what kind of harmonics were on here, just to see targets on where I want to get out at, where it could reject heavily. And I found this giant, just massive butterfly. This usually is a 786. It's close enough. I mean, a 786 is like right here. So it's close enough to where this is legit enough for these levels to react once we get there. And then you always want to take the lines on the harmonic and put a line through that, just because you know those are going to be significant in the harmonic that's playing out. They're going to be some, especially when it comes up and touches this. If it comes up and touches this and like we start to decline after this, you know that like this level right here is going to be a big support from this. Same with this level here. You'll know that it's a big support from here. Target usually can come down to here though. But yeah, just so you know. But I took these harmonics with the butterfly. It can be the 1272 for the extension, the 1.414, or the 1618, which is the golden ratio. And I have those marked off right now. So these are kind of what I'm looking for. And it's kind of nice. I like Trader SZ. I follow him too. He has a completely different style than I do, but we get the same targets, which is very interesting. But these are kind of the targets I came up with, what I'm looking for. I think as long as we stay above this red line here, this red line right here. Let me see if I can make these darker too. Or not as dark, sorry. So you can actually see through. I have it black, that's why. It shouldn't be black, but I'm too lazy to change it now. But yeah, you can see how we broke out. We're kind of hovering above this. I bet you if you go to the small time frames, we might have went down and tested this line close, but we're sitting above it right now. So I want to see us hold above this area if we can. And then from there, it's kind of just like, I mean, there's no resistance here. There's really none. Like you don't see any resistance over here. So like back here, you had all this resistance to like break through, like this whole area. So you had all this resistance to break through, and we finally were chopping away at it. And now that we're out of it, you don't really have much resistance till at least 3.46. I'm going to start scaling out a little bit earlier, but I think we can go up and touch at least 3.2. So I'll probably scale out majority if we get to 3.2, and then just maybe ride a little bit more up here. But that's when I would scale out and start to kind of look for shorts at some of these and see where we react. Double top at 21K. All right, so I have a fib. I have a bunch of ways I look at stuff. Like I literally examine shit so many different ways. One thing I look at, I also use Fibonacci circles, because if you know harmonics, they use Fibonacci ratios. These are all Fibonacci ratios from like the Fibonacci tool. If you look up here, all these ratios. But I also use fib circles sometimes. So from like low to high up here. So I took from the low here, and I went to the high that lines up with, well, the high should line up here. There we go. It's low to high. So yeah, I had that a little off actually. Thanks for bringing it up. But yeah, so I kind of use this because it will give you levels it'll respect as well, right? So when I saw we came down here and we hit this right here, and that we kept bouncing off of it, like right around this, it's a pretty good support on the fib level, fib spiral. And then if you look over here, you can see we hit this other fib spiral right here, and we didn't really break it, right? We kind of just went along it. So I decided to see if we had another harmonic pattern, and we did have one that if it did reject off this, that it would bring us down to the 786. So I took that and dragged it right along the line to see if this is where we're going to go down and bounce from. So if we do end up coming up or down or whatever, and then we come down and bounce from this area and hold that, then we can keep pumping. And maybe we do come down and touch that and then pump all the way up to the D point on this harmonic. Just kind of what I'm looking at. Double top. I mean, I don't know. I guess you could say double top. I don't trade like that, really. I mean, people say double top because they're zoomed in like fucking crazy. I zoom out. I don't really zoom in. You won't see me looking at like the 5-minute chart or like the low time frame charts, really. I barely look at the 1 hour, to be honest. I do it sometimes. If I'm trying to find an entry, I'll do a harmonic on a lower time frame. But I mean, that's not a double top, bro. You got above. I mean, if it was a double top, you would have legit double topped, but you did get above it. And I mean, yeah, you can call it double top, but that's so zoomed in, right? Like, that's almost on like the same daily candle, or like the same 3 daily candle. I think double tops are better if you're looking at like a weekly. Like if you look at a weekly and it comes all the way back down here and then comes up and touches again and rejects, then that could be a double top. But I don't like calling double tops from like small time frames. I just don't. It's just not how I trade. But yeah, I have a bunch of different harmonics, bunch of different Bitcoin charts that I look at, and each of them probably have different harmonics on there just to see what areas they'll bounce. It's kind of like if you ever seen that meme with all the different lines and these like pointing at the wall at the lines, like that's kind of what I do. I'm like, okay, where can we bounce from? Where can we find resistance at and all that. CHZ. All right, so I like CHZ. I'm actually long from like right here, I think, like 19.5. And the reason I went long, well, this chart doesn't have enough data. There's this one. Let's go to this one. So the reason I am long is because I saw this macro breakout. Like I zoomed out, I looked at the macro. We had this massive harmonic, or not harmonic, just like trend line. And right here, I was like, okay, we're about to break out. Everything looks kind of bullish. I'm gonna take a stab at it. So I took a stab, I marketed in from 19, tweeted it out, 19 or 20, like right in between there, and tweeted it out. And since then, we've kind of gone up. We have this massive trend line, horizontal line where you have some support and resistance here, support and resistance over here. So I said, if we can reclaim that area, then we can have a proper pump on this. And so far we're getting there. And I think at least minimum, we come up to like right, I would say like right about here, like 27 cents. But we're gonna see. This harmonic can extend all the way up to like 40 cents to 43 cents. And even if you took this to the 1618, which this can go to, you can go to 48 cents even. I mean, and then I bet you if you go to that 48 cents, you probably have a harmonic this direction. Close. Probably have it right here. Yeah, that would be a bat pattern. So the bat pattern is, and they both line up, right? So that's crazy that this lines up. You have a bat pattern with this anchor point. This is in between a 0.382. This is in between a 0.382 and 0.886. This is between 382 and a 0.5. So you're in there. You're in the range here. And then this as well as a 2618, which is perfect. A 2618. That's like another Fibonacci ratio. The 1618, the 2618. And then you get the 886. So the 886 is right there. And it lines up with the 1618 of this harmonic. So this area up here is a massive area to look for a short in on CHC. Like 48 cents, 47 cents. Anything in this zone, I will be looking for shorts on this. Anything in here, any wicks in there, once we get up there, is a macro short, which I like to play. I want to play those macro plays. We get up here, it might take a while, it might chop, but as long as you get in, try to get in as close as you can to these points, set your stop loss above the X up here, and then ride it down. Yeah, I'm not saying it's not a double top, Flama. I just don't. I know what a double top is. I just don't really use them too much. I'm gonna check engine, guys, real quick, just because I'm in the trade still. I want to make sure we're not doing anything ugly. Okay, we're still above that. Like I said, I have this breakout. Come and retest it, and then go. Looks. What'd you guys want? I do not scale up my leverage. I usually, so when I have a harmonic like this, I usually create like a little box like this, and I'll stagger my bids throughout it. So like we can zoom in. Unless I feel like just entering all at once. It depends. I mean, it depends really. But if I'm like not at my computer and I say it's like right here, say price is right here, and we don't have any of this, I'll have my bids placed something like this. So whatever I feel comfortable with my position being, I'll separate it into say like 10 different bids and spread it out like this and kind of create like a spring. So say it does come down, but say it only hits like this much. I might not have the whole position size I have in, but if it does come up and it comes back down again, it'll hit those bids and then go. And that's what I'll do sometimes. I'll just scale in right here, place my bids. Like I said, I don't use a lot of leverage really at all. If I do, it's like below 3x usually. Some of the things I post say like 10x, but that's just because I have the thing scrolled all the way up and I'm too lazy to change it. I literally use like 3x, so it's all about position sizing. But yeah, I'll scale them in like this and then have them all get filled. What fills, fills. What doesn't, doesn't. All right, let's look at Matic. All right, couple things for Matic. I actually like Matic. I was calling for $1 for a while. I actually had a friend that asked, and we're pretty close to this bearish harmonic pattern at $1. But we also have another pattern, like a much larger pattern if we are bullish, that could take us way up here. But we also, this harmonic pattern that could take us way up here would still be valid if we rejected and came all the way down here. It would still be valid for us to go up there. So it could look like this. If we do reject here, say we do reject here, this harmonic pattern is still valid. This big red one is still valid from here down at 40 cents to go up to like $1.58 for a potential pattern. And that's $1.58 is where you would short it again and look for a macro down and then back up. So let me just go back with these. So we're gonna see what happens because it's also a legit harmonic if we break up. But this level is very important, right? This $1 level. If we don't break this $1 level, we will get bearish right here, and we could come down. We could come down, maybe chop around, back up, back down. Ultimately, probably test this B or this, at least this C area. And then if we break below this, you see all the support resistance here, this very big support resistance line. If you get below this, you're probably going down here. So kind of watching this, this is at a very important level. I might try to take a short at $1, to be honest. We're gonna see what happens. But if we break above this, then sure enough, I think if we break above this, we can go up here, at least up here. And that's where I would try to scale into a short. If we get all the way up here, this could go to the 1618. And this, instead of this being a bat, which a bat is, it's between the 886 right here. You can go up to the 886. A shark can extend up to the 1618 and still be a pattern, still be a harmonic pattern. And then the 886 is where you buy. This is a bullish harmonic once it completes. So if we ever get to 40 cents, bet the house on Matic. The dollar is important though, that $1 level. So we're gonna see what happens. If we do go risk off there and we start to nuke a little bit, that'll be really telling, right? All right, what's next? Aptos? I'll go to Aptos. Aptos doesn't have much data. So I did have this posted, and I was being, oh wow, I forgot about this harmonic at the 1618. I had this posted, and it was at the 886, which is, yeah, so that should be right. Let me get rid of this shit. I had somebody else that posted harmonics, and for some reason I was like looking at theirs and like had put their level on mine for a little bit. I think on one of these other charts. Yeah, right here. This, they had the 7.6 level. And I think I even tweeted at them. I was like, hey, that's incorrect, blah, 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 and I left it on here. Because this is incorrect. They had the 886, but this, if you're going to have the 886 for a bat, you can't have a close to a 618, because if it's a 618, you should have it at the 786, which is right here. So you have to have this between a 382 and a, like right between a 382 and a 0.5, and this is much closer to a 0.5, right? So this is more legit, and this is what I had on my chart that I actually posted a while ago. So I posted this one on Twitter when we broke out up here at 950 and said, give me the D point, give me the 7.37. And sure enough, we came all the way down. We did go below it, but remember, you have to go below the X for it to be invalid. So you long here, stop loss below the X. And we didn't go below the X, and we reclaimed this level, and we're looking bullish. I have this up here. This is very kind of guessing what price might do. So we'll see what happens if this plays out or if it doesn't, but not enough data really. So we did have, was it here? Yeah, so I had just like a lower time frame potential crab as well that was calling for like right here, that lined up with this. So I was pretty confident that like right here is a potential reversal zone right at that 738. And if you got in at 738, I mean, you could have waited for the price to come back up and hit it before getting back in, and just went that way. But as long as you knew to keep your stop loss, if you entered there and you're not using high leverage, you can put your stop loss below your X and you could be fine. So with this smaller harmonic here, if you wanted to take quick scalps, you could go like this, and you could have a target at 618 and your 786 for a couple targets, like quicker targets at least. And once you have those up, you can kind of see how they line up with like right at all this order block right here at this B. It actually lines up perfectly. And then right here, you can see how it lines up right at here. You see like support resistance, support resistance, support resistance over here, right here too. But ultimately, you have this larger one, right? And then you also have targets at the 618 over here. As you can see, the 618 here lined up with this B, the 618 here pretty much lines up with this B. And your 786 could be another target. So I'm thinking this can run up to 9.36. This would be a good target. I'd probably scale out on some of the others, but as long as this X holds, I think we push to 9.36. And this just lined up so much better. I mean, you got 382 here, which is right at the 382 to 0.5 ratio. In between your 382 and 886 here, this 707 is actually another harmonic level, so right there. So that's kind of what that hit. And then you have down here your 886, and then we're trying to find support here. We could probably come back down and, you know, test this, maybe chop on this for a little bit, support, and then go. I actually did not take this short, but I posted it on Twitter. I said right here, stop loss above the X, take profit right at this C level. Look at that, that would have been a perfect trade. How much percent was that? 17? That would have been nice. I'm almost positive I posted that on Twitter. Yeah, see, I was in from 4.9, but I closed it early. 4.9. So 4.9 was right. So I was in from right there. I got it in a little late. But I would have still had a 14% move if I would have actually held it. Yeah, see, it wouldn't be surprised if we saw a pullback right here. That was at 8 at like the $5. So that would have been a good short. What does that say? 4.18? Is that where we bounced from? Oh my god, look at that. So I had this harmonic posted at the 4.18. That was the target. 4.186. Where was that at? What did I have the anchor from? Okay, let me go to the higher time frame. So I had this, I think. Or something very similar to that. And I had the 786. So right here, yep. Look at that. Look at those lower time frame harmonics playing out that I had posted with the trade I didn't even take. Just bounced off of it for so far 6% move. Not bad at all. Yeah, I close positions sometimes early too, but you close too early when you're using high leverage. So like when you use some lower leverage, like you don't really close as early. Let's look at Doge. I need to look at Doge. And then what did you want? You wanted KNC. I can look at KNC. Let me look at Doge first because I want to look at Doge. Alright, so this is what I think is going to happen with Doge. I posted this out, put this on Twitter, said along, showed my first target on Doge, that was right here. So my first target was right here. And the way I got that target was from that other harmonic at the 886 from this retracement. But I got out a little bit before the 886. But we plowed through that 886. Because I saw a potential bat harmonic that was right here. And the 886 was right here. So I wanted to take my profit right before that 886 on my first Doge trade. So I got in down here, had a great entry, 11.4, and I rode it all the way up to here, and I got out. And then, so it actually ended up pushing out up to an alternate bat pattern. So the bat pattern goes to the 886. The alternate bat can extend up to the 1.13, which is right here, the 1.13. Oh, hold on. I have a 1.113 on there. How long has that been on there? 1.13. That's what it should be. It doesn't really make a difference. It wasn't much. But it pushed up into an alternate bat pattern. I posted this on Twitter and I said this is where Doge will like go down. And sure enough it did. Yeah, right here. First TP hit and first sign of slowing down. Maybe consolidate again before going higher on Doge. So right here, we hit this area, and then I posted the alternate, or well, I posted the bat pattern. We actually extended up to the alternate bat, which was a little bit higher. But then we did come down to at least 13 cents I had here, and this is where we've been pumping. We went down to 12.5, so close enough. I didn't really put a lot of thought into this. I just knew this is about where we would probably come down, right, and consolidate above this, all this shit. Sure enough, it was a good take profit, right? Even if I took profit here at 14.3, I re-entered at 12.5. So it was good. Worked out. The next take profit, if you really zoom out, I have up here for take profit 2, where I think we're going next. And there's 2 ways to get this number. One way I got this number is from here. If you take this, and this isn't a legit harmonic, it just shows the 886 or 786. So you can see how this is a 786 Fibonacci ratio. So it's better, honestly, to just go like this. Take your fib retracement and see how it lines up with the 786 right here. So you have the 786 here. And then also, you take your Gartley pattern that we got, that was right here, 618, so very close to 618, very close to 618 again, and then you go to the 786, which is pattern completion. So 786 right here. So you'd enter right here, and this is super bullish too. And with the when you have a Gartley, a lot of the times it's the best harmonic pattern. With the Gartley, you can extend up to the 1618. So you go from high to low right here. I mean, if you go to where the harmonic pattern was completed, where it should have been completed at the right here, you get the 1618 that lines up with the other 786. So that's a big area. That's this 0.179, right? So that's where I think Doge is going. And then I also figured, since we're going to the 1618, what patterns go to the 1618? A pattern that can go to the 1618 is a butterfly. It extends up to the 1618. You could also look for a crab. So crabs also extend up to the 1618. So in my thought process, we pump up to either this level, 15 first, or right here, just to see how price moves. Like I can look into the matrix with harmonics. It goes up, down, up, down, up, down. So if my target is up here, and we're gonna hit up here, this is my target, right around 18 cents. Before we get there, we need to find where we're gonna retrace a little bit, come back down, get more liquidity, and go. So ultimately, I think we push up to either the 618 or the 786, because those will create harmonic patterns that go to the 1618. So these two levels, I'm looking for a rejection to come down and maybe test the top of this liquidity, which is the 618 and the 707. So those are both Fibonacci levels for each pattern. Perfect. And then from there is when we get the big push from 13 cents or wherever this ends up retracing to, all the way up. So if you're not in now, it might be better to wait until we come up to one of these levels, maybe try to test it, see if we come back down a little bit, and then get in. Or just get in now with low leverage, put your stop loss down here. I know it's a lot, just don't use a big position size. Just take a little piece of it, don't be greedy, and then just put a stop loss or take profit up here. I also have this that I kind of use as a cheat code. Doesn't really, I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't really like fractals, but I took the fractal from over here on Doge, right? So I took this area when we first broke out on Doge back in January 2021 and copied it and moved it over here just to fit my bias and see if price is kind of gonna do the same thing. So far it's looking like it is, and then that's how I also came up with this harmonic pattern. So there's a lot of ways I looked at it, and it looked like based on the fractal from back in January 2021, we did go up here, we did come down here, we did hit this area, and we bounced from here. So I long from here, and it looks like we would come up, we might come back down a little bit first, right, and then go up to here, which is the 786, which is the butterfly, come back down to the 13, which is what I had marked, and then from there go up to our pattern at the 18, right? So this was at 18, and all I did was copy and paste the same movement of the chart from 2021 when we broke out at first. So in my eyes, it looks like history might not be the same, but it often rhymes, and it lines up with my charts. It does, and it's just how the coin moved in the past. So I think we could see that, and then from there it might just chop fucking forever until it moves up again. But in my eyes, that's what I want. I might even flip short up here, but probably not, because one Elon tweet will fuck it up. Oh, another thing to look at too is we are getting some divergences and everything. Give me one sec. Oh, fuck yeah. I long SHIB too, but I didn't post it. Matic rejected? I bet you it rejected right at that $1. Very close. It'll probably push up a little bit more. It'll probably push up a little bit more only because people are probably trying to short right now, right? And what's going to happen is it's going to push up a little bit more. It looks like fake reject here. Think everybody's out of steam. Everybody's like, oh, short it, short it, short it. And then it just pushes up a little bit more. Unless I just don't have this on the exact anchor point, which could fuck up the data too. So let me see. So the 886 would actually be right here, which is like $1. Yeah, so there it is. Yeah, so I think what you would probably see is something like a more sideways. If we reject here, I mean, but yeah, I think this is a place to scale automatic. I mean, look at the move it just had. Don't get greedy. Just had a fucking 50, almost 50% move. If you're in like a leverage trade, if you're buying spot and you want to hold long term, I mean, you can do that, sure. But based on this harmonic, which is a daily harmonic, I mean, we don't have to go to the hourly to see this thing. You can see it on the daily. And this is a big area. I mean, say this shit does reject, it could go down to 40 cents from here. This is one of the biggest and best trades I had. I shorted from 217 on this thing. On OP. I had the 786 here, but we ended up going to the 886 instead of the 786. I'll show you. Actually, we went in between the 886 and the 786, I think. But 74 cents was the target at least. And we got in at 217. So 217 here. We wrote it all the way down. So we didn't go all the way to the 886. So it was a legit 786 harmonic. It was a cipher, which you would have entered here at 74 cents, like I said. You would have had your stop loss below your X, or at least below the 886, right? If you don't want to be too risky, throw it below the 886, which would have been down here, stop loss. And then the correct way is to put it below the X. If you're using leverage, sometimes like I'll just place it below the 886. A little bit below the 886. Here's the 886, and you see price reverse. You can place stop loss below here usually and be safe. But the proper way is below the X. But this is the proper harmonic here. And look what fucking happened. Say you would have longed at the 786, the price that I gave you when we were at 217, with a stop loss below. I mean, that's another 50% movement. Play these macro levels like that. Don't use high leverage. Use like 2x maybe. And then hit a couple 50% movements on 2x. That's 100x or 100%. You're looking good. Where did I get in at? I got in at, what's my entry? I don't even know my entry on this shit. .01159. 0.10159. 159. Oh wow, I bottom ticked this. Nice. This thing could still go lower, so I don't have my stop loss there. I literally have my stop loss like right below my fucking entry. on this one at least. I'm just seeing if I can bottom ticket because I knew Doge was gonna pump, so I was like, if I can get in this and see if Doge pumps a little bit too. How the fuck do you take off the fucking labels? Right? That's how you're supposed to do it. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm digging in this. I have a stop loss like right here or something like that, like 11 exactly. I think I have it right under 11. So yeah, I just figured I would get in this and see if I could ride it up a little bit. You also have a, let me go to a clean chart on SHIB so I can show you the divergences. So for, this is a hidden bullish divergence, and basically what that means is, you see how we're forming like a lower high here, or a higher low. Like you have a higher low, price is higher, but you see the MACD, the momentum, the red went lower, right? So this is a hidden bullish divergence, which means for the most part, as long as you stay above this level, as long as you stay above that, that's bullish. It means continuation. And then you also have on the daily, I mean, did we just get rejected here? Yeah, so I mean, we'll see what happens here. So you kind of got this like little pennant. So it's kind of like decision time soon, which is good. I checked this because I might get out. We'll see what happens. What's this, 4 hours? So we probably have, how much time in here do we have to make a decision? Oh, wrong one. Like maybe a day. We'll see if we break out before that on either which direction. If we break out before that, if we break out on the downside, yeah, I don't like that. That's a fucking, what's this? Is this a, that's a Gartley. A Gartley would be fucking amazing. What'd I say? We had to stay above this level, right, to remain bullish. And we have a Gartley that would print at 1.0, basically 1.107. So if we break on the low side, if we break down here, you long here. If we break out on the upside, 0.5. We get that first target would be, you would try to bring it to at least up here. See how that lines up. So that's a pretty good support. See a bunch of candles right around there. And then this would be a resistance, which you have a candle wick here. And you have some candle wicks over here. We'll see what happens. We do have a massive harmonic on this thing though, like on the bigger time frames. We had this harmonic that printed. And then we also had another one too. I probably have it on one of these charts. Yeah, this one over here. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if we go down to 0.1. We could go down here as long as we... I don't mind if we go down there as long as we don't break in under this trend line. If we do come over here, I'll just take another stab at it when we retest down here and then go. Because if this thing moves, I don't want to miss it. Just move my stop to break even. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out, to be honest. In the meantime, I'll take a free trade on Chib. And then at least I know my next entry if we do come down, right? So we're at about here. I'll set an alert for that. So it reminds me, it pops up on my phone and it tells me to put the house on Chib. If we turn bearish here, Solana's gonna fucking nuke. At least 50%. We can't seem to get back into this channel on Solana, which is annoying. It's pretty bearish too. If you can't break into this and get back in here and reclaim this channel, then right now we're just bear flag rejecting on the macro scale. And everybody's still bullish on it. And sure enough, if it doesn't break back into this, it can go all the way down to like 19, even all the way down to 12 bucks. Why'd I just see a thing that said Trump was dead? What coins do you guys want to see? Anybody want anything charted? dust. What's dust on? Radium? Dude, there's so many better assets to hold than dust. To be honest, it's not really, I mean, I guess, yeah, this is a good spot to maybe buy if you want to hold long term. But there's like so many better assets to hold in this shit. You're missing out on gains you could make somewhere else by buying something else right now. And then buying dust later. You'll be able to buy more dust later. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't touch this thing unless I see a break of this. If you see a break of this, then you can know that people might also be seeing the break of this, and then you would see more volume. But look at the volume down here. It's fucking non-existent. You can't even see it. It's literally non-existent. When it does rally again, you do have a big harmonic on it now. Yep, you're gonna have a bat. So you could potentially, it is at the 886 too, so this is a buy zone if you're gonna buy. Could see it go up to here. But if you buy now, you're gonna have to hold for fucking ever. Real people's view on dust. Yeah, it's a fucking shit coin. There's so many other things you can buy other than dust and suck off fucking Frank. Yeah, 674 would be this harmonic. You would have a smaller harmonic probably, but you could literally just take the fib tool and just look for an 886 and 786, and that's probably where it's going to reject. But you do want to see what the price was on here. You would want to see what price does in this area to find when it does break out where it would reject first. So this is kind of just speculation. But these are some levels to watch out for. The top of these candles over here, 886 lines up, and then right up here as well. You might have one here too. 1272 right here. This would be at 786. 1272, which is right here around $6. The 1414, which lines up with the other harmonic I had, and then the 1618, which would probably be a double top. Yeah, which is cool, right? So look, you have your top over here, and then look, you have harmonics that line up right at the top. So when people see price go up here, they're like, oh, new all-time high, get fucked. Do I really not have IMX on here? Immutable X, right? Dude, this looks like good buy zone. If you reclaim. I mean, if you reclaim this level, because you have this trend line, which would kind of go right above this level, which was the bottom. And then this would just be a deviation. Deviation out, reclaim, retest, and go. That's where I would take a trade. I would wait for the breakout, the reclaim, the retests, and go. Unless you're buying spot down here. If this holds as low, it might take a lot of time, but six, a little bit lower because it's not at 886, 889. Yeah, look at that. So if you get a 50% retrace here, say this goes up 50% from price here to here and retraces 50% of that down move, and you come back down and you retest the support, then you can take trade like that, which is about a 3-to-1 odd, which is what I like to do. I like to have at least 3-to-1 odds. Three reward to 1 risk. You thirsty? Oh wow, that's a 786. Dude, if we retrace, we can. This would be crazy if this is a 786. Because if we actually retrace from here at the 786, this would be a butterfly, and it can go down to a 382, which is the support over here, all the way to an 886. So I mean, it has a lot of places it can go to stay valid. But targets would be here, here, and there. And look how those line up. Yeah, that looks good. I like that a lot. That 1618 is perfect. Look at that. I mean, shit, even the 1272. Good morning. Look at that, we're finding support on the red line. Up, retest, go. Up, retest, go. just reopen my Rose trade. You guys want to see something I like? I forgot who showed me this. Dude, this looks so nice on Rose. It literally has perfect harmonic ratios. You have an exactly 0.5. You have an exact 0.886. And then you have an exact, you can either go up to the 1.13 or the 886, which is here. The 1.13, the alt bat pattern, actually lines up perfectly with all this fucking resistance up here. And that's what I think happens, because Mask did the same thing. The chart looks very similar, and then the resistant lines up with the alt bat. So I mean, this fucking looks phenomenal for me. It might take some time to play out, but this is definitely like a low leverage position. This thing's been popping off too. Look at that. This is probably the correct anchor point I should have had, which is right here. 786. Look at that. It's a Gartley pattern. That means render's probably done, unless you reclaim this area. It was a good short. It's already down 17% now. Just shows you the power of harmonics though. I had this on here a while ago. I actually just had the line, I forgot, I erased the harmonic, but I had the line like just chilling up here. And sure enough, like we pumped all the way up. I had the X anchor point here when, yeah, in reality, it probably should have been right here. It makes more sense. But yeah, I mean, it almost tapped it to like the exact cent and then rejected for the Gartley. Harmonics are crazy, man. They're so fucking accurate. It's all going to plan. Sorry, I just put sunflower seeds in my mouth. I watched a guy do harmonics, Hyper Bitcoin's duck, on Twitter for a while, and then I joined his paid group. It was like $200, and I didn't do harmonics. Like, I just did regular, like, price action, finding divergences, finding my own levels, and I use the fib tool sometimes, but not that much. And then eventually I was like, fuck it. He literally finds exact turnaround points in the market and the exact bottoms on everything. So I decided to learn myself, and he kind of mentored me a little bit. And ultimately what I did is I took the harmonic that's pinned, like the harmonic cheat sheet that's pinned to my profile. Not the first one that's pinned, but if you click on it and scroll down, there's another one. And I actually took that and put it as my computer background, and I have 2 monitors. So when I would chart with one, I would put one on my background on like the left screen, and on the right screen, and then on the right screen here, I would chart, and I would just go from swing low to swing high, or swing high to swing low, to swing high to low, and just get all the points. But it took me a few months. Honestly, after a week, I was picking it up, though. Once you have the cheat sheet, you know what's legit, what's not. It's math. It has to be in between those ratios. If it's not in between those ratios, it doesn't work. Or it's not as strong. So just chart different assets until you find one that has a completed harmonic. And then from there, that's it. That's pretty much it. And then I read a couple books. I read, these books too. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna hop off the stream, but thank you very much, and talk to you guys soon. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube if you haven't yet. And talk to you soon. See ya.